Hey there, Contractor Cav here with Overseas Contractor Academy, and I am still talking to you from between two ferns. Well, kinda, that one's not much of a fern, but anyways, today's topic is gonna be Afghanistan. So obviously, unless you just don't watch the news and you've been tuning out the world, which I don't blame you because, you know, it's not often real positive, the news. But the Biden administration is pulling out of Afghanistan. And today I want to talk to you about why, what some of the factors are going into that, and where do I think that's going to go, that whole situation. So stay tuned. Okay, so in my opinion, there are three main drivers here as to why we are trying to pull out of Afghanistan right now. The first one being that basically it's the Asian pivot, and we cover this in the course that we built on Overseas Contractor Academy, but really the biggest threat in the near future is obviously China. They are the only ones that they're trying to come up and match us military for military. They're really pushing around their neighbors over in Asia, over the sea lanes, the fishing territory, economic territory, and we are really trying to contain that with our allies over there. So that's really, the military wants badly to focus on that, and you can't really do that effectively if you are tied up in the desert. So that's the first thing, is the Asian pivot, basically, and the focus on China. The second reason is, I think just people are friggin' tired of us being there, man. I think the American public, I think the politicians, a lot of people are tired of us being mired down in Afghanistan, and they just don't feel like there's been a huge amount of difference there. So I think that's a big driver there. I think it's a politically safe move for Joe Biden to, you know, and the Democrats in general, his party, to be able to say, hey, let's pull out of there. A lot of people, as far as like your average, normal, everyday American, they're probably like, yeah, you know, let's get out of there. Like, it's, you know, why do we even have people there anymore? And the third thing, which I think, you know, again, this is just speculation, believe it or not, Biden does not call me and ask me for any input, nor does anyone important, really. But I think that the political situation in Afghanistan has been one of extreme corruption, and whoever we put in charge of the government over there, basically they tend to just line their pockets, and it's almost like the little mouthy guy or the little crooked guy that is friends with the big bully on the block. Like, that's kind of how that's worked out, is they've always had the U.S. forces there, and you know, we've been pushing for years now for the Taliban and the Afghan government to work out a peace deal. Well, if you feel like you've got all the bargaining chips because you're on the U.S., you know, you're with the U.S. military and you're on the U.S. side, and you're the elected official over there, you're not going to be willing to give up a lot of ground. And so, even more to the point, why would you? If you're basically in a position where the U.S. government is kind of protecting you and keeping you in your job, and you're not really under much of a threat, and you're in a position of power, and you're able to sort of, shall we say, garner extra income from alternative sources, especially businesses and people seeking influence. And that garnishment of extra money is buying you nice houses in Dubai, then you're just not motivated to sit down and really work out a peace deal with the Taliban. So I think that's probably an unspoken part of what's going on over there. And again, you know, this is just speculation. I'm not anyone important to that political process over there, but it's just from all the contractors that I know that have worked with higher level Afghanistani individuals, it's like anything. You're going to have some good people. You're going to have people that are trying to do the right thing. but you've also got quite a lot of corruption over there. And if you're in a position where you're protected and you're able to be corrupt, you're just going to stay there. You're not going to be willing to give that up. And I think that's the third big reason as to why that situation is what it is over there. And in order to motivate those people to negotiate fairly, we will say, hey, we're pulling out. In fact, we're willing to actually pull out and be like, see, now you got to work it out. So yeah, I kind of see that as playing a big part of this as well. Okay, so regarding the pullouts, the military is obviously against it. Quite a lot of leaders, including former secretaries of states, former presidents, pretty much everyone at the Pentagon, completely against it. And that's because there's a lot of unmet goals that we had said that we were going over there to do, like setting up actual education for women, voting systems, freedom, inalienable rights, like human rights for people. And that really has not been met. So us leaving with basically, we had a big checklist of what we went over there for, and we've only gotten 2 or 3 things there, and that's even kind of fudging those 2 or 3 things. So yeah, it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow, and there are a lot of people against it. And so what will happen? You know, that's kind of like the big thing is you have the Biden administration and the Democratic Party, and you have a lot of people that are really pushing to get out of there and to focus on China and reduce the costs over there. But then you have just as many people, and sometimes it does cross political lines and sometimes it doesn't, but you definitely have quite a lot of people that are against pulling out from over there. So you know, and they're gonna work it out. But I do know that as of right now, we are about 20% withdrawn. So a lot of students of mine that went over there and guys that I worked with before, they're all kind of saying like, yes, we are pulling out. Contractors are starting to reduce their footprint there. It is going on. And so if it's just a Biden bluff, it's a damn good one, because we are pulling out. We're about 20% out of there, and we are looking like we're going to do a lot more. So where's that going to lead? Well, you know, the biggest thing is that whether we like it or not, whether we want to focus on China or not, Islamic fundamental terrorism is still an existential threat to the U.S. That is still a security threat. Maybe not existential, I'm sorry. I will say it's a security threat. And that there is the fear of, okay, we pull out, it all falls into chaos again, and then, you know, 5 years from now, there's another 9/11 attack because we didn't set up any kind of stability there. And more to the point, we would lose our intel networks over there, which is really what we have, because we're on the ground right now and we're working with a lot of the Afghanis and we're handing out a lot of money. We've got great intel as far as what's going on in the core of that sort of really hardcore world, and it's really important for us to keep our fingers on that pulse. So us pulling out completely would make us lose that, which is definitely not a good idea. Okay, and so what do I think will eventually happen here? Well, honestly, I think, as we've already seen, as we've started to pull out, the violence is already going up. There was a girl's school that got blown up, and of course, you know, everyone's, oh, well, that wasn't us, that was someone else. Like, yeah, okay. We're seeing violence start to escalate. We know it's going to get worse as we pull out. So, and we don't, for the aforementioned reasons, we don't want to lose our intel network. We don't want to have everything just sink into chaos. So what is the most likely thing in my head? In my head, I left Iraq in 2011 when we were closing it down, and we still have thousands and thousands of people there. So my opinion is that we are giving all the signals that we need to give, that we're serious about this politically, and that the people that are part of the current Afghani government, they need to get serious about working out a deal with the Taliban and creating stability. But I don't think we'll get down to zero, quite honestly. I think there will be a footprint left. I think there will be some big bases left. That way we keep our intel apparatus in place, we keep our contacts, we keep our finger on the pulse. And that means that there will be contractor jobs as well in the future. Just like there's still contractor jobs in Iraq. So that's kind of what I see happening, is a drawdown to force people to get to the table. It satisfies, you know, the political benefit, the political game of, look, we pulled out mostly, you know, and it does reduce our cost of being there. So it makes a lot of people happy, but I think that's going to be the ultimate solution, is just a big reduction of the footprint, but there's still probably going to be thousands of contractors and thousands of troops still over there on a few bases. So, okay, that's going to be it for this week's edition of Between Two Ferns. That's kind of what I think of Afghanistan, what's going on right now. As I said, I could be wrong. I don't think so. But, you know, the famous words of Charles Barkley there, it always is wrong in my head. But I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But yeah, I believe that there will be a reduction of troops in Afghanistan. But bear in mind that as the troops withdraw in Afghanistan, we are greatly increasing in Southeast Asia, as well as even Africa, and putting more in Eastern Europe. So, you know, if you're over there or you are looking to target that place, as an overseas contractor looking to go to work, you could always go to one of those other mentioned locations. So it is still very easy to become an overseas contractor if you have the right knowledge, ding, and you really apply yourself. You can go over and make some of that overseas money and change your life. That part is not going away. But I will say that you're probably going to see a reduction of just how much we are into Afghanistan, and a correlating increase in how much we are involved over in Asia and other places. So that's it for this week. Until the next week, roll up your sleeves, get your ass to work, go check out the website, get the knowledge, and go overseas and make some of that overseas contractor money.